Wow. Sorry, everybody. The old lady's away on business this week, which means I have all three. And Wednesday night is basketball practice and then cheer. And cheer's on over till 8, which totally screws me, which means I don't get home to like 8:15, and then she's hungry, and then she's still got a shower. And she's wound up. Wow. First show of 2025, at least with Delco Steve, who is there. Delco Steve. Now, Delco Steve, were you did you punch a Maple Leafs fan last night down at the Wells Fargo Center? You're muted. You're muted. It was not you.
I saw the headline of the show, and I'm like, wait, what did I miss?
Yeah, I guess you're not on Crossing Broad all day like I am.
No,
yeah,
I'll be maybe on Saturday. That could happen.
Are you going down Saturday?
Yeah, we got there's like 6 of us that are going to boo Cutter Gauthier.
Oh wow! Wasn't he
like
just,
wasn't he that's like a bunch of 30-year-olds going to boo 19-year-old, 20-year-old?
Wasn't he just saying the game's personal to him or something?
Yeah, he's a bitch.
What do you mean it's personal? They tried to sign him. Yeah, he didn't want it.
Yeah. I don't know.
What a dick.
Like, literally. Like, come on.
Like, what?
And he's not even, like, I know the Ducks aren't that great of a team and all, but he's not doing anything spectacular.
He's not. That's the first time I've even thought about his name since the whole thing went down. Anyway,
he's gonna be a good player, but it's whatever. He was getting booed. The Flyers just played Anaheim before the New Year, and he was getting booed in his own stadium by Flyers fans. So I can't wait to see what it's like going to be on Saturday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thankfully, the Eagles game was not scheduled for Saturday because I bought the ticket before.
Yeah, you lucked out.
Yes, I did.
So what'd you have done? Went to the game and just paid attention on your phone?
I would have hoped that the Flyers would have moved the game based around what time the Eagles played.
Yeah, probably
they do it. They do it. Yeah, they've moved.
Well, because it's a parking nightmare if it's at the same time. Yeah.
But if they never would have had the Saturday afternoon game, so that would have it would have been Saturday night if anything. Right. So the game would have gotten moved to noon, 12:30, 1. So
that's a good point. Yeah, you could have double dipped and then went to Xfinity Live and watched the game.
I would have. I don't know what I would have done, but I would have probably hit up Erica's tailgate and ate so I didn't pass out from all the drinking I'd be doing.
So you will not be going to the game? The ticket has not been handed off to you?
Nah, the ticket has not been handed off to me.
Hell no. Playoff game, brother.
Nah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm only 1-1, so I was there for one of the losses, so I'm not gonna. I don't need to jinx it.
Well, everybody, what's up? Listen. We obviously are going to talk about the Eagles game. Might as well, since I brought it up. This Flyers fight. This guy Kevin Kurz, he's a writer. I'm not trying to be a dick. I've heard the name, and I even follow him on Twitter. But he puts, I don't condone violence, but like maybe read the room a little bit better, which is like, all right, dude. So this is what happened. I'll give you some backstory. There you go. So look, Maple Leafs fan, this is when the game's over. All right. So he's down there. You look at him right here. Maple Leafs fan. There he's like waving goodbye. And boom. So there it is. And there's like an usher right there. So the backstory that I read on Crossing Broad from people that saw it was that these guys were being obnoxious and talking shit the whole game. And then I guess at the end, he threw a beer. So the dude that ended up coming down right there, that dude, I guess he threw a beer up in the air and the beer got on the girl, or like the girl was his girlfriend was talking smack to him and he threw a beer on him, whatever. Like first of all, like you can't come down and start punching. That goes without saying. If they would have, these idiots would have started got in his face or something, then you're going to get it. But he walked down towards them. You can't do it. It looks really, really bad. But these guys are also idiots. Like if you're going to be in Philadelphia, I always say this, if I do like out of market radio interviews or something like that, and it's like, well, would you go to the game if you were an opposing fan? Like it's normally the Eagles game. And I'm like, no, of course not. But if I did, I certainly wouldn't be wearing my team's colors. And if I did wear my team's colors, I would just realize that I'm probably going to get beer thrown on me. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's right. That's just the way it is. And you certainly should like it. And if you're going to be confrontational and you're going to go in there and you're going to look for a fight, you're going to find a fight. Because it's going to be
100%.
Okay, yeah, 100%. And that's on you. Not that Eagles fans should fight them, but still, like that's going to happen. So these guys doing this, not that they deserved it or whatever, but like Philadelphia's reputation. Now they're Maple Leafs fans, and I guess they're as nutty up there.
We literally fought one of their players 2 decades ago. Come on.
I don't.
Like you got to know what to expect.
Right. So, and apparently they found these guys. Kevin Kincaid of Crossing Broad found the guys and asked for comment, and like the guys wouldn't say anything. Like they didn't want to kill the fan. But, he's waving. He comes down. Boom. Yeah, like he was quick to throw those punches. So you know what? He's lucky the guy didn't get arrested. I mean, it's assault. You can't. I don't care if the guy's yapping at you. You can't punch him in the face. So anyway, that was the big.
Those were some hooks.
He threw legit punches.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously it doesn't make him right for hitting him. No, the guy should be arrested. Like, listen to the words that I'm saying. That's assault, and the guy should be arrested. The game was over, so you can't throw him out. But, like, the guy should be arrested. He punched him. But also, if you're going to do that, the reputation, you're just stupid. It doesn't make the Flyers fan right because he's 100% right. It makes them stupid. If you're going to go ahead and poke the bear, guess what happens sometimes?
The bear gets you.
Yeah, the bear gets you. So you're throwing beer or whatever, and you've been talking shit the whole game, and now it's the end of the game, and you're waving to everybody. Guess what? This is Philadelphia. Like, this is the reputation. You're dumb. It's like the idiots in San Francisco. I don't know if you saw my back and forth with that loser in San Francisco recently.
No, I didn't.
Bonte Smith or I don't even know, Bonte, whatever. But yeah, Kevin Kincaid, I posted a video of him after the Niners lost, and I commented. I didn't tweet at him. I commented that I hate that guy because after I went on San Francisco radio, he half played nice at the end when I shut him down, and then he talked shit after he after the interview was over. He even talked something about my family, like said something about my wife and kids because that was my picture on my social media. So it's like, dude, F you. So I just said, I hate that guy. So then he said, oh, I'm irrelevant. And he was so happy to see me now be irrelevant because I left radio or whatever. So I posted his ratings. And I was like, you want to talk about being irrelevant? Like, I was the number one show in Philadelphia for 3 straight years. Right? Like, and I left.
You walked away. It's not like you got fired.
Away, brother. They wanted to bring me back. And even if I did get fired, my ratings speak for myself. This dude didn't crack top 10. And if you have a morning show that can't be a top 10 show, and by the way, the other sports station that's out there, their morning show blows too. So it's not like you're going up against Preston and Steve on a rock station and you're trying to beat Preston and Steve. They were going up against a sports radio show in the morning that sucked on the other station too. And he could, and they weren't even top 10. They weren't even top 10. Like literally, if you're on a sports station, men 25 to 54, you should be able to turn on your microphone and be a top 10 station. I've never finished. Even when I worked on shows that weren't successful, I was never not top 5. So this guy was a loser. So I'm like, oh, you want to talk about relevancy? Like, take a look at your ratings, brother. And I said exactly what I just said right there. I'm like, look at your ratings. Like, this is like literally, they were 8th. They were 8th fall book. They were 8th when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. That's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible, even if you're not the sports station that has the Niners and they don't have the Niners, this loser, it's impossible not to be a top 5 station.
Yeah, everyone's looking for football talk at that point. If you're
Holy
a sports
crap.
fan, you're always looking for it. Yeah, especially when you're Tampa team. Like, how weren't you like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Weren't you like leaps and bounds #1 that year or in that quarter?
Yeah, well, the Phillies were also made a World Series run, and then the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, the when the Eagles are good, you're always going to have good ratings, but the numbers that you get when the Phillies are also good, because then you have during the week, you have playoff games during the week. And when the Phillies were in that World Series, I felt like everybody was listening to me because I'm on leading into the game. It's a great spot to be.
Yeah.
I was getting like text messages from people that I went to high school with that were like, "Hey, I got your number from such and such. We're listening to you. We're headed down to the game right now." I'm like, Jesus Christ, I haven't heard from him in 30 years. And you're texting me. So yeah, like we were doing 18 shares. I could pull up his ratings. They're doing like 2 shares, like 9 times the amount of listeners this loser did. Bonte Hill, that's his name. Loser. So he called me irrelevant, and I went nuclear on him. I didn't even see it because I don't look at my mentions. And then Kincaid told me, like, yeah, like it seemed like it was pretty personal with him. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even see it. Then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I can't let this.
Now it is.
Yeah, now it is. Like, loser. So before I took over, Chris, and he was barely with the station at all. They were doing, I think they were in 4th or 5th place, which coming off of what was there before was actually pretty good. So like it wasn't terrible, but Mike was still ruling the market. And even when like, so Mike is like, all right, so when you say 18, when you say a share is the total number of people in the particular demo that you're talking about that's listening to the radio. So if we had an 18 share, we had 18% of the listeners that had the radio on were listening to us, men 25 to 54. And it was actually probably even higher, men 18 to 49. There's different demos, but we get bonused, right. And when you hear ratings, you're hearing 25 to 54 men. So to have an 18 share is an incredible number, and it's a testament to WIP and to our audience. But yeah, so Mike was doing like an 8 share or a 10 share. And even when they got rid of Mike, he was still doing an 8 share. To where Tyrone and Ricky, they're doing like 3 or 4 share at most. So they lost half the audience. And guess what? Our audience went up. We got Mike's listeners. So people that left them, a lot of them came over to us. So, well, there you go. There you have it. Somebody else had asked here. So, there you go. So I don't even know why I started talking about that. Why did I start talking about that? I don't even know.
We went from Flyers to that. I have no idea what the segue.
Oh, out of market radio people and those guys whining and complaining.
Yeah, you were saying like you were telling people what you would say or what you would do if you were an opposing fan coming here.
Right. Yeah, you should and those guys, those idiots, they were like, we're coming in there. We're not going to be intimidated. We're wearing our colors. Here, they went on the radio and gave their section. They literally said, this is the section we're going to be in. And then guess what happened?
Didn't they get hit with a hot dog or something?
Yeah, the guy got hit by a hot dog. He was so mad. They were crying because they had to do their show the next day, the Monday from WIP. They're like, oh, they're fake thugs. The Bonte loser, he was so mad. So mad. They were crying the next day. And you know what? I wouldn't have liked it either. Your team lost. They're probably throwing beer on them and stuff. But like, what did you think was going to happen? That's what I said. You're the dumbest idiots on the planet. You went on WIP and you gave your section and you said that you weren't going to be intimidated. So guess what's going to happen?
Everyone's going to try and intimidate.
It's going to mess with you. Yeah. Yeah. Conklin came running in the studio and they were so mad. Oh my God. They're such babies.
Whenever I've been to any game in any other place besides here, I just go, I wear my stuff and I just keep my mouth shut. It's like sometimes I was in Nashville for the Flyers played the Predators for their season opener one year. And it was the year after the Predators went to the Stanley Cup. So it was like their banner night and yada, yada, yada. I ended up sitting in a section with like an awesome group of fans. We were and it was a great game. It was back and forth. And we had a blast, like poking each, like they were all right. And that was fun. It's just like, it's like you go to games and still have a good time as an opposing fan and not be an ass. Like it's really possible. It really is. It's like
we went to Sean Brace and I when we worked together. We went with we had a contest, and the two guys that won it, and actually Bart was one of the guys that won it. I became friends with the guys, Bart and Bill. Bart got murdered, like maybe 2 years ago. Now the guy who did it just got sentenced. Yeah, he was a FedEx driver. He didn't drive like the regular trucks, but he drove like the tractor trailers. And it was a coworker that had a dispute with him and just went in his car when he got into his car and shot him up. So it's but we went up to we took a limo, went up to the Garden. We saw the Flyers and the Rangers play, and the Rangers won. So when we were leaving, there were a lot of people that were like talking shit to us, but we had a great time. It was fun. I mean, people buying us like $30 beers. And that's how it should be. It was awesome. We had such a good time. And that's how it should be. Like, yeah, you can yap at us and we'll yap back after we score or whatever. There should never be any violence. So I don't like going to Eagles games. It's too drunk and disorderly down there. I do not like it.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So so these idiots, the reason why they were so mad at me was their whole thing when they were on the air was this shit only happens in Philadelphia. We're wannabe thugs. So every fight video from the NFL for that next year, and there's a lot of them. Oh, and guess how many? And there's none of them are in Philadelphia, by the way. They're in Dallas, San Francisco, everywhere else. I retweeted them and said, I thought this only happened in Philadelphia. And I tagged them. And because I don't look at my mentions, I don't see what they say back or whatever. Right. So like they were literally waiting for me. And I got on the air and I'm like, and they were just like shouting me down. And I was like, bro, if you're not going to let me talk, then I'm not going to do the interview.
Right.
No, I'm not doing, like, you're going to at least let me respond to it. And then they're like, oh, we didn't have a problem. No, we were treated fine by Eagles fans. And I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? Like, you're such losers.
I mean, like, people, like, didn't someone, like, get killed in L.A., like, over a Dodgers game or something? Like,
yeah, San Francisco and Los Angeles. The guy got,
I'm pretty sure we don't get anywhere near to that. Like, no. So, I don't know.
And Nate brings up a great point. And do you remember we used to play the sound from it all the time on Marks and Reese show, where like the television station from Minnesota was interviewing the Minnesota Vikings fans that went to the game. And this was after they lost. And this one guy's like, yeah, they took my hat off at the urinal and threw it in the urinal and peed on my hat. And like these guys are, or there's the famous video out there, the dude that's going.
Oh, I love that kid.
I gotta find it.
Oh, that poor woman. She's an idiot. Like, God bless your simple heart. It's simple-minded heart.
It's one of the best things ever. Hold on a second.
I could watch. I watched that on replay when it happened. It was too great.
It's so funny. It really
Wait, did you see the video of the little kids just heckling?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that was good too. That looks like the same woman, if you ask me.
It might be.
Switched allegiances to the Giants.
All right, here it is. How are you going to compete with that?
How does her husband not knock that dude out?
Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. So they were all mad, but you have to remember what Vikings fans did. They went to the art museum. They did the whole skull thing at the Rocky statue. They came in thinking they were big and tough. And then guess what happens? And then word gets around because of social media. So everybody was at that game knew about it. So what happens? Yeah. So yeah, you're going to get treated like shit if you're a Viking fan, especially because it was a blowout and Eagles fans are drunk and have nothing.
Yeah, they have nothing better to do at that point.
You know what you do? You put your head down. You get the hell out of that stadium. Is what you do if you're a Viking fan.
Yeah, if you're down 28, 30 points. See ya. Bye.
It's awesome.
Good night.
So anyway, yes, the proper behavior to have if you insist on going to to an opposing team, and I would say this for any NFL stadium. I went to a Chargers game back in 2007, 2008 in San Diego, Eagles. And like some of those Chargers fans were really mean. And it was at the end of a game, and I was with my buddy, and it wasn't my friend, but it was his friend that was from Philly. And he was a loudmouth, and he got drunk. So he was definitely louder than I was. And the Chargers like clinched the game by getting a first down with 90 seconds left or something like that. And this guy turned around and was like, "You motherfucker, like fuck you," and like just went crazy on us. And it was like, whoa, like calm down. So this guy like lost it, and we had to like hold him back. He was insulting the guy's girlfriend, like calling her fat and all this other stuff. And it was like, of all the stuff that I've ever seen at Veterans Stadium, it's been a lot. Like no one's ever started a fight with me or like the group of people that I've been with.
Right.
So, I mean, listen, the vet was ridiculous. Lincoln Financial's a lot better, but still it's not great. But anyway.
The one of the funniest ones I saw, that same trip I was in Nashville, I ended up at the Eagles-Panthers game in Charlotte that Thursday night. The dumbest thing I ever saw in my life was two Eagles fans squaring up, fighting each other in the court. I'm like, you guys are idiots. Like, this is why we have this
Sure, they're all drunk. I mean, when we did the pregame shows on WIP, if there was a prime time, a Monday or a Thursday, we would have to do the show before we'd be live at the stadium, which, by the way, I fucking hated. Hated going to the stadium. You know what happens?
Can only imagine why.
It only happens. So we're on the air at 2:00. I think they open the parking lots at 1:30 or 2:00. So I can get in the stadium because I have the credential, but people park in the middle of the road. When they're waiting for the gates to open, They just park in the middle of the road. So you can't get by anybody. And then you're like driving up on a sidewalk, then a cop's like ignoring you. You're like, yo, like I'm trying to get in. I have a media credential. No one wants to deal with anybody.
Yep.
I hated doing that. But I would leave right after the show. And so now I'm walking through, and dude, the fights everywhere.
You're walking through mayhem at that point.
I'm walking through mayhem, drunk people, and everything else. So yeah, I hate. I know a lot of people like going down to the games. I like a nice tail. I hate it. I hate going down there. For so many different
I like doing it once, twice a year. Great. But like I have friends that will go down just to tailgate and then leave. I'm like, no, like that's
you know what?
That sounds miserable.
I would almost rather do like here's part of my problem. I would much rather watch it at home. You can watch Red Zone and things like that.
Yep.
Bro, it'll take me 90 minutes to 2 hours to get out of that parking lot and get home. 90 minutes easy. You're looking at least 45 minutes to get out of the parking lot.
That Falcons game week 2, we weren't home till 1:30 in the morning. Like getting out at
trying to get over like 11:30.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah,
it's 45 minutes just sitting in one spot waiting to get out of FDR.
Yeah, it's I can't do it. I've reached the age where I've reached the age. It's been like this for 10 years for me. I just hate it. I don't want anything to do with it. And you know what you end up doing? And this is why I said I'm not going to do it anymore. You end up leaving in the fourth quarter because you don't want to hit the traffic. So you're like, all right, what's a good time to leave? Like, all right, we're going to leave after this. Boom. And then you're like sprinting through the parking lot. You can't even enjoy watching the games. I'm so friggin' worried about taking 3 hours to get home.
Yeah, I have a hard stance on just never leave early no matter what. But sometimes I'm really jealous of those people.
Oh, and then you get people that sit out there and they're like, oh, we'll just sit out here. Like I am. All right. Well, there you go. Let's talk about the game here because I was late getting on here. I feel good. I feel really good about the game. Packers are a good team. Even here's what I worry about. All right, Delco Steve. I worry about that they come out and they have a sluggish and a slow start, and maybe the Packers get
like they usually do.
Yeah. So especially with Hurts not playing for a couple weeks and the starters didn't play last week. And then they play tight because they're at home. And you know how the crowd is. You get halfway through the first quarter and the offense has a couple 3-and-outs. You're going to start hearing some jeering, and then you're going to start to hear booing.
Or you get to the 25, Elliott misses a field goal, something like that.
Sirianni goes for it on fourth down, doesn't get it. So
pick your poison.
The one worry I have is a slow start might get them maybe get the players a little bit tight.
But I will say in that regard, it's just like they have 2 games all year where they didn't start slow. So it's hopefully that if it does happen, it's just like, all right, business as usual. We'll turn we start in the second quarter and we just roll from there. Yep. It's like they know they're a second half. Like what the Super Bowl year against the Chiefs, like they were this ridiculous first half team. They got off to all these ridiculous fast starts. They were putting up 30 points in the first quarter and then just milking the clock in the second half. This team's the opposite. This team starts slow and then they just start like they just keep hitting you with the same stuff over and over and over again. And then by the time the second half rolls around, they're running the ball down their.
Then it's the fourth quarter and Barkley's running all over the place.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they win by 21, and it's like, wow, how'd that happen? It's just so. I mean, I think that formula can still work in the playoffs, and I don't think that a slow start would kill them, but it all depends on how the defense plays. If the defense plays lights out, then it's no big deal.
Jordan Love's limited in practice. He's playing. He's playing. Like, trust me. He's not playing.
I don't get I feel like he's got to be somewhat compromised though, because it's like it's just like they were like, oh yeah, he could have came back in Sunday if it was a playoff game. It's like, but like you literally just said he couldn't feel his hand.
Yeah.
And they had all their practices closed to media so far, and no one's seen him do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
No, I mean he may not be good. He may go out there and be like, man, like I can't do this, or like they're like if they're running the ball a lot, then it's like, all right, he's having problems with the elbow. But you know what? They like to run the ball.
And I totally missed this, but someone mentioned to me today that Malik Willis got banged up in the Bears game too.
He did.
Well, I totally missed that.
Love was he was warming up to come back in because it didn't look like Willis was going to be able to get back out there, and he did. Christian Watson's out.
Yep.
He tore his ACL, or that was the initial diagnosis. So he's not out. I mean, they're a good team. If the Eagles play a B game, they're winning. Agreed?
B game, it's a lot closer than you think. Oh, if Love is good, like let's say he's 90%, whatever, and you play a B game, it's going to be a close game. You're probably going to be relying on Elliott at the end for a field goal.
Well, that's trouble. Or you're going to be relying on Hurts needing a drive, which they may.
Right.
They may need. What happened to that line, by the way? I know it opened and then it jumped up to 5.5, and then
I think it was 4.5 today. I haven't looked at it again since this morning.
Yeah, I haven't worked the last 2 days on PHLY, so I haven't been looking as much as I normally would have been. But yeah, this is the same defense. They got a week off, which despite all the, I don't know if you had a hoagie mouth breathing, Saquon Barkley should play. But
no, I could have. My thing was, it was like they play him
4.5.
Fingers crossed that he doesn't get hurt. And then if they don't play him, whatever, I don't care. It's like, would have been cool to see the record, yeah, but it didn't matter one way or another to me.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened to the Packers. Like, you lose Christian Watson for that game ended up being meaningless to them because the Commanders won anyway. So it's like, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have risked those guys.
No, they were never playing. The whole thing. I'm not going to say it was stupid because it's a fan thing, but the fact on Sunday the media was still. I'm not even the media. Like Teddy Bruschi is coming out and being like, "Oh no, they should have played him. He should have went for the record." It's like, dude, it's Sunday. They're playing today. He's not playing.
It's over.
Shut up about it already.
Well, I would have let him keep eating against the Cowboys personally, and then the week before, and if he's within shouting, well, they pulled him in the fourth,
but they gave him 31 carries.
Oh yeah,
they made sure he was over 2,000 yards, and then they got him out.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, if he got another 50, hypothetically speaking,
then it's a little bit different. I agree.
And it's just like, all right, well, he could theoretically get this at halftime.
But it's like quarter.
Right. It's like, but do you think if he needs 100, the Giants are going to allow him to, like, they're going to be like, well, he's going to be alive, so we're going to just stack the box and hope he doesn't get it.
Well, which they would have. Or maybe they would have let him get it. Who knows? They had no interest in winning that game. That's what I didn't. That's what I didn't account for.
Dude, they're ridiculous. How did they win the week before? Which I'm always saying that because I'm mad because it cost me money. Because I just kept betting the Colts live, thinking
Well, you
the
know what
Giants are
happened?
the Giants are just gonna lose on purpose at the end.
You know what happened? The GM and the coach were told they're coming back.
Right,
the week before they weren't.
Right, but if they're told you're coming back, it's just like, oh, you're saying before the Colts game they were told.
So the Colts game happens.
And they didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know. So why would he why would he say, yeah, let's lose so you can get the number one pick and draft somebody?
Well, hypothetically speaking, even if you don't know at in that spot, well, there's a chance that I'm coming back, so we should probably lose.
Well, they only won 3 games. It cost them the number one pick. I don't know if I'd won any of these quarterbacks anyway this year, but
bro, it's the idea of just if someone's gonna do something like hypothetically speaking. Now the Raiders are 6. If they are like, well, we want Shador, we're gonna hire Dion, and we want Shador. Like we're gonna give you we'll give you Max Crosby and our 6 for 2.
Yeah, no, it's true. So it was clear the Giants were playing to lose that game. The Bills also, I don't know if you saw any of that. The Bills were clearly playing to lose the game to screw the Patriots.
100%. Loved it.
It was great, wasn't it? It was perfect. You know what I learned through what Tim Donaghy did, that it's possible to fix things without, like when you think of fixing a game, you're thinking of a guy that goes up and intentionally strikes out or misses a basket on purpose or something like that. Donaghy showed you that no one even noticed because refs make calls like that all the time, right? He just got greedy, and then the mob got involved, and that's how he got figured out. If he would have told nobody and didn't get greedy, he could still be doing it today. So
Can you imagine a ref in today's landscape of sports betting?
Holy crap!
It would be relatively easy too, because you could literally use anyone to do the bets.
look at the who's the player? His older brother's actually, but he was taking the under on rebounds, and he was he goes to the game for a minute, get a headache or something, and then he got caught.
Yep. Well. So the reason he got caught was because his props were the largest handle of any prop.
Well, you can't. I know. It's fairly obvious.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But so he had the most money bet on his props, was the least amount of bet of anybody in the league on any given night, but with the least amount of bets placed on it. And they were all to the under, and it was all for games that he left after playing 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, there's some red flags that are flying everywhere right there.
What a moron!
And what happened with the player? Oh, he left with injuries to the game.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, he is a moron.
My tummy hurts. I can't play.
Rod Mayo ends up getting fired. That wasn't because of winning the game. He was fired 80 minutes after.
I'm glad he won the game though after he got fired, because that's what's the point of if he would have lost and got fired, then it would have been I just
he knew coming in he was probably getting fired. The whole story with that is they want to hire Mike Vrabel. It's the
they should have did that
least
last
kept
year.
Secret in the world. Well, they should have
did that.
But he was under contract. They signed him 5 years ago that he was Bill Belichick's successor. So he was under contract. They would have had to fire him before he even had the job, which I guess they could have done. But so Vrabel interviews with the Jets the day before, and the rivalry between the Jets and the Patriots, their ownership. Yep. So Vrabel goes in, plays it perfectly, and interviews with the Jets. You think the Patriots are going to allow Vrabel to be the Jets head coach when they want him? Vrabel was the Titans head coach. They put him in the Patriots Hall of Fame on the Titans bye week, and he gave his speech and said, "Let's go get a win today. We need to get a win today," or something like that. It's hold on a second. We have to get a win today. You're the head coach of the Titans. Holy shit. Could you imagine if that happened with a coach in Philadelphia?
Dude, holy crap. It'd be nuts.
And so the whole, between Antonio Pierce and
Well,
and Gerard Mayo. And do I actually still have this up? I didn't tweet it out, but I was like doing it. So since 2011, there have been 13 African American head coaches hired in the NFL. So think about that. Since 2011, 13 black head coaches, and not interim head coaches. They were actually hired.
right.
Of those 13, 6 of them were fired after their first season or before the end of their first season.
Well, half
6
of
of them.
well, yeah, I'm not saying that. The only one that's actually like had prolonged like success is Mike Tomlin. These guys, it's not like they come in there and like the Cardinals. Vance Joseph got screwed. Like that was a terrible run organization at that point.
Well, Steve Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes. That's
Steve
what
Wilkes was
My
after
bad.
the first year.
Yeah, like,
Vance Joseph was after 2 years in Denver.
With the yeah, but he was terrible.
Yeah, no, so I'm not telling you Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo didn't deserve to get fired. Like, I think each of them's on an individual case-by-case basis, right? Like, I can't say, Robert Kraft, you're a racist because you fired him after 1 year, right? Like, he's got to do what he's got to do. Right. It just looks really bad, bro. I mean, 13 coaches hired and 6 of them are fired after their first season, 46%. Like, you know, if you looked at, and I wasn't going to take the time and add up how many white head coaches there were, which are far more. But the fact that, so the actual number is, what was it? I think there's total, I don't have it. But like the number of head coaches that have been fired after 1 year is like not a lot. There are white ones, but there's like,
I mean, like Urban Meyer was fired after one.
Might have been 21.
Urban Meyer didn't even make it through 12 games.
Yeah, so like all I'm saying is it makes
Frank Wright was Frank Wright was fired after was fired mid-season after 1 season.
He didn't make it a year. Chip Kelly made it 1 year. He went 2-14. But the difference is when you look at this coaching cycle, Brian Daboll comes back. Now he was coach of the year 2 years ago, but he comes back. The guy in Tennessee, Callahan, he comes back. They're 3-14. I can't tell you I watched a lot of Titans games, but I can't imagine he did a good job. They fired their
black
GM.
Their black GM.
Yeah, like that looks bad.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad.
I mean,
and he was only there for 2. He was only there for 2 years. But like in that situation, though, he didn't do anything for 2 years, and now you have the first overall pick. Are you going to trust that person who didn't succeed on any level?
But like, don't you also need to? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to get too much into this because it's whatever.
No, I agree, but it's not like any of these people are, you know, like coming out with like a 500 season and then get fired. These guys are they're bottom of the barrel teams and bottom of the barrel run organizations.
Yeah.
And so they're not good anyway. So you could have put me, Joe Schmo, with the coach when anybody's getting fired in those situations. I mean, you look at the Raiders. Davis is a terrible owner. Marlo, stop it. Jesus. But yeah, like Mark Davis is a terrible owner. He's fired 3 coaches in 3 years. Like it's
a bad organization. Yeah. Like,
it's more comes down to these organizations are bad, and these guys are getting their shot in a terrible situation. And they're not able to, you know, step through. Like what would Mike Tomlin did in a stable organization? Like, okay, like, boom, he's still there 20 years later. It is what it is. I mean, in those situations, these teams are bad.
Kellen Moore's getting interviews. I would not hire Kellen Moore, having not interviewed him or ever met him. And it's hard to answer the question with that. But the fact that he's had success as an offensive coordinator and has not gotten a job, he's interviewed a lot. He hasn't gotten a job. Maybe this is his year. I don't know. But you know, the fact that he's not shining in the interview process to where he's not getting jobs. I mean, Nick Sirianni got a job. Well, that dummy, but he also, like, when he could be impressive to you in an interview because he's got great energy and he's passionate about it. It doesn't, like, if you hear Kellen Moore talk, he doesn't have the same personality as Nick Sirianni, and that means something in an NFL locker room. I heard Aqib Talib say it in a radio interview, when he was with the Broncos, about Vance Joseph. He said the first time that he addressed the team, like in his first mini camp or whatever, afterwards the guys were like, oh, hell no, this isn't going to work. Like, he didn't command the room, and they knew that he wasn't going to, and he didn't.
Yeah, and like he like swallowed his pride and went back as a defensive coordinator, and they all love him there. Like for what he's doing now, it's just he doesn't have that persona to be a head coach.
He does not.
You can say the same thing about like guys like Eberflus. Like he was a 2-year, was he 3? Eberflus.
I think this was his 3rd.
Right. So he got, but it's just like he never commit. Like you could say it's the same thing. It's just some of these guys just aren't cut out for it. Like Eric Bieniemy was a great offensive coordinator, like went years and years and years without getting a head coach because he couldn't he wasn't doing good in the interviews. And
I also think there's some stuff in his past or whatever that teams are worried about. But let me give you an example for Gerard Mayo. All right. He came into one of the worst rosters in the NFL, right?
100%.
Who's their best player?
Drake May.
Christian Gonzalez, right? Christian Gonzalez, a
Yep.
Second-year corner. Who's their second best player? Not named Drake May. Ramondre Stevenson, like a
Hunter Henry
running back. Like it's a terrible roster. He comes in with little coaching experience, right? And the team sucks. What did they expect was going to happen? Now,
he was set up to fail for sure. But
my point is that looking at it from that, like he had growing pains. He wasn't given a second year. And again, like I know the inside. I pay attention to Boston media, so I know it probably has more to do with Vrabel than anything. But
I don't know. There was times throughout the season though that he was talking out two sides of like he
did a terrible job. He was terrible with the media. He threw his players under the bus.
Right. He literally came out and said no one's playing like with any heart and whatever. And Belichick has to come out and be like, I know those guys in the locker room, like they're all playing with heart. Like, and if they're not playing with heart, it's because of
you don't say that about your players, man. So like that's why I'm saying like it's not like he didn't deserve to get fired, but still it's like he's not given the benefit of the doubt and these other guys are. All right. What else did I have? Have you followed any of this FS1 lawsuit, Delco Steve?
I have not.
No idea?
No.
So this former hairstylist for FS1 is suing because Joy Taylor was banging Emmanuel Acho and like this executive, and she was moving up and everything else. But Jason Whitlock has been having a lot of fun with this. And then today, Jason Whitlock, he worked at FS1. They got rid of him. And what's his name? Marcellus Wiley. They actually had like a good show that was doing well, and they got rid of him. So Marcellus Wiley went on Jason Whitlock's podcast today and said he's thinking about suing everything that's going on. But I gotta actually. So Joy Taylor was married, and no, I don't want that. She was married, but at the same time was apparently banging Acho, and then also this executive. And it was said like that's what she was working her way up. So in the suit filed, she alleged that, and this is the guy. Let me see. Charlie Dixon's the executive vice president of content. So apparently this guy grabbed her butt at a birthday party. When she relayed the encounter to Joy Taylor, the Fox host allegedly told her to get over it. After starting work on the Undisputed Morning Show starring Bayless, the suit alleges he began to give her lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while putting his body against hers and pressing against her breasts. She alleged she repeatedly told Bayless she was not interested in him and did not date at work. She claims she told Bayless she was suffering from ovarian cancer after developing issues with her ovary in an effort to halt his advances. Instead, Bayless became more aggressive, offering her $1.5 million to have sex with him, claiming it could change her life.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Approximately 1 week later, Bayless made another advance. He responded, "Skip, stop, you have a wife." Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 or 4 wives?" There you go.
Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, Joy Taylor began insulting this hairdresser on a personal and professional level after their friendship ended. Suit also alleged that Taylor mocked the English pronunciation of her name because she's of Persian descent. What else do we have here? And then like Shannon Sharp's name was thrown out there, but apparently he didn't do anything. And then so Joy Taylor is accused of sleeping with this executive, sleeping with Emmanuel Acho, all while she was married. So Jason Whitlock goes on his podcast and says that one of the reasons why he didn't want her involved in the show was because she was always what word did he use? Her cans. I have the.
I don't. You're enlightening me on all of this, so I haven't heard.
He said that big rack of hers and that peanut butter skin. I know what I'm capable of. and Joy Taylor's beautiful too. She is, but like she used to be on Colin Cowherd's show. She did like the news on Colin Cowherd's show.
I got you.
And she was horrible. So I love Cowherd, and I used to listen to him a lot of times when I was driving into work. I'd listen to the first half hour, and she was horrible. But yet she kept getting promoted, and it's like, all right, it's TV. She's hot. But, yeah, it helps if you're sleeping with the executive vice president of talent. So here's Whitlock.
I remember, I'm at Fox Sports at the time, and I ran into some friction because I didn't want a woman on a show that I was doing at Fox Sports. And so this is in 2015, 16, at the very beginning. And I can remember they brought Joy Taylor in for a test on the show that I was doing. Yeah, this is at the time when I was going to be initially doing my own show, and Cowherd was doing something else. And just keeping it all the way real, Charlie Dixon wanted her to be involved with my show. And so we brought her in for a test. And I didn't think the test went well. And I let everybody know, hey, I don't think this test went well. I don't want
Bone, Joy, and Harmony.
This isn't the direction I wanted to go. I was trying to play nice and trying to be on this show because that's what everybody wants. And I was like, well, you need to bring a grown-ass woman on the show, 25, 26 years old. You talking about, I mean, I got a lot of discipline, but 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say, at some point I'm going to lose respect. I'm like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin.
There you go. Now, he's obviously criticized for all of that.
I was going to say, how does he think he can get away with saying all that?
So here's what he's saying, because a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, sure, she was going to bang your fat old ass, right? But it's not what he's saying.
Right.
What he's saying, you know what happens? Sexual harassment suit. You can't control yourself because she's every day doing that. And, like, what that can do to a show. Like, one of the things with Skip and Shannon was this hairdresser. Skip was obsessed with her, according to the lawsuit. And these are allegations, by the way, I should mention. But he was accusing her, according to the lawsuit, of sleeping with Shannon Sharp. So Shannon Sharp and Skip hated each other anyway. So now, like, Skip's jealous because he thinks that Shannon's messing around with this hairdresser. So, like, anyway. So all like, and now look where this lawsuit is. And Jason Whitlock, everybody wants to hate him. And, like, he is an insufferable, miserable bastard if you follow him on social media. But I watched the whole segment with what he talked about, and he's, like, kind of spot on outside of what he said right there.
Yeah,
but, like,
there's a political correct way of saying what he said.
Yep.
Yeah, like,
and he knows what he's doing because that he's gotten so much play off of that too. But yeah, like, he knows what he's doing. I mean, it's pretty funny, but he's right. Here it is.
I mean, I got a lot of discipline, but 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say. At some point, I'm going to lose respect. I'm like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin.
And you know what? He said he's keeping it real. He's right.
I mean, all he had to say was she got the job because she was more attractive than everybody else.
But, like, so he's saying that I guess she did, like, radio in Miami. I'm just telling you, they gave her a Fox Sports radio show on the weekend before she started doing this thing. And, like, I lost all respect for her because she didn't even try. She didn't care. It's terrible. I don't know why I'm listening to it, but I did. And
well, you listen to anything if it comes over the radio.
I know. And I was just like, I can't believe, like, it's just the lack of respect for the network and for the frequency and every frequency she was on. It's like, anyway, but yeah, so like she starts banging the guy who's placing all these people on these different shows. So it's like, yeah, it's like, hey, Jason and Marcellus pushing her on. It's like, okay, yeah, like, but he was like, no. He knew it wouldn't be a good spot. So they're like, look at where she is right now. Because she ain't good on the air at all. Not that really, like, is Molly, whatever her name is on First Take, is she any good? She's terrible.
Is it McGrath?
No, it's Queer.
Or is McGrath the chick? I don't even know. I'm getting my people mixed up.
And I'm not telling you that, but like, horrible. I think Joy Taylor's actually better than Molly is on First Take. She's horrible. Horrible. But anyway. Yes, it is Jason Taylor's sister. That's why she got started in Miami. That's where she was. So, yeah, there you go. What else did I have here? Yeah, so I've been following that all week. And then Marcellus went on today and said this. What else do we have here? We got started late. I know we want to wrap up here or whatever. What else do we have here? Let me try this one right here. Oh, so did you see any? Are you ready for the college football playoff tomorrow night?
Yeah, to hate my life on two fan bases that I can't stand.
Oh, so you're looking at it like that?
Oh yeah, can't stand Penn State, can't stand Notre Dame. I guess I'm rooting for Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's who I'm 100%. I'm rooting for Notre Dame. You know why? Al Golden's the defensive coordinator, former Temple Al.
There you go.
Since every friggin' Penn State,
they don't mention that at all. But
the Penn State fans are always like, whenever I talk crap on Penn State, they're like, "Oh, it's because you went to Temple and you're jealous." And I'm like, when do you ever hear me talk about Temple? Care about Temple? I don't.
Temple football and Penn State football aren't anywhere near the same.
Yeah, no, I know, but like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. So it's like it's not like. If you were, I don't even know, like if you're an Ohio State fan and you're like, oh yeah, you hate Penn State. It's just like, okay, yeah, duh. It's like Temple, and if you're a Temple fan, you're not holding yourself to a standard of Penn State.
I hate Sandusky. Well, I think everybody hates Sandusky.
I was going to say, it's like everybody hates Sandusky.
I honestly, James Franklin, until he opened up his mouth today.
I can't stand James Franklin.
I can't either. But he's been talking about the transfer portal and talking about a lot of different things, and he's been vocal about it, and he's absolutely right. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad he spoke out about it. Like, honestly, do you remember when they were asking about the guys that got dismissed from the team for like rape and shit, and he wouldn't talk about it, and he just like walked away from the microphone or whatever? I thought he handled that very poorly. But then afterwards, he said, I handled it poorly. And I was like, all right, like I respect that a lot. Like he didn't have to say anything. He did. But today he was talking about how, and he was being honest, they were asking him about it. He was talking about how Notre Dame should have to be in a conference and there should be conferences and you shouldn't have to have an independent or whatever. Like, bro, stop talking. You got a football game tomorrow night. Stop talking. You don't want to give artificial anything to Notre Dame to have any extra incentive for them to take your words out of context and try to use it against you. James Franklin's the king of punching down, and they punched down this entire college football playoff, and they've won. Yep. Give them credit. But Notre Dame's a tough team. They're good. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a close game. But
I don't know. I don't know if I see Franklin actually. Because like he always chokes in these big spots, and yeah, the last two games were big spots for them. But again, against who? It's like Notre Dame just beat Georgia. It's like maybe Notre Dame comes out a little slow after a dogfight with Georgia for a little bit of last week's game. But I don't know, man. It's just He always finds a way to screw it up.
Yep, he does.
And I haven't got it. What was it last year when he was like talking to the reporter about Aller throwing the ball deep, and he just kept like just railroading the reporter. Yeah, I've been officially done with him since then.
Corey Geiger, yeah. And Corey Geiger actually was one of the few outspoken people. He was on the ESPN affiliate up in State College, and he he was one of the outspoken people that said they should have fired Paterno. He's getting death threats and all this other stuff. God, I hated that. Hated that time. But
I was in college at that point. It was so like it was just every other thing you heard was about something this, something that. It was just that was brutal times.
Jeff Mosher's a Penn State grad. And then AJ says, because I guess AJ's a Penn State guy. Mosher wasn't. Matt Lombardo, yes. Matt Lombardo is not a Penn State graduate. I know if you follow him on social media, you would assume that he's like 5th generation Penn State. He went to friggin' Westchester. He's as fraudulent a Penn State fan as anybody I've ever seen.
Go Rams, baby.
Because you're right. You would assume that he was a Penn State fan. Oh my God. No, he went to Westchester. Penn State fan. Penn State grad. My ass.
Yeah, well, Delco is just gonna be in flames tomorrow night, probably with their neighbors, Penn State fans.
Oh my God.
They're probably the 2 most annoying fan bases in this area for sure. I was talking to my one friend. She's a diehard Penn State fan. And I came up with this take. Penn State is the college version of the Cowboys, where the Cowboys have won Super Bowls like way before our lifetime.
Right.
And the Penn State and I said it to her, she was ready to punch me in the face.
1986.
Yeah, that wasn't born. So
I was. And I rooted for him then. I guess I rooted for him. I mean, the 94 team, my high school girlfriend, we were together her freshman year, and that was the 94 team that really should have been able to play for a national championship. It was Nebraska and Penn State were both undefeated. And that Penn State team had unbelievable talent. First round talent across the board. Kajana Carter, Kerry Collins, Bobby Ingram, Kyle Brady, the defensive line, Courtney Brown, I think was on that team. But yeah, they didn't get a chance to play for it. And even like the Wally Richardson team, they had good teams that just never were able to get over the top. That were like number 1 ranked teams. The Michael Robinson team, what was that? 2005, whatever team was in, I think they were in the Orange Bowl. They played Florida State. That was a really good team. So I follow Penn State just over the years. You know what it was? The Paterno thing really soured me to what a freaking zombie vacuum that is up in Happy Valley. Just like a you got to be kidding me. You people are out of your freaking mind. All of you up there. So I think that's what had me turn against Penn State.
I've only been up there once, and I'm good with that. I don't need to go back.
No, I would love to go. No, it's a great place to go see a game. I'd still like to go up and see a game. So Chris Miller says, no disrespect, but who is this other dude? It's a valid question, Chris Miller. If you're a new viewer to the show, because we used to be on with higher frequency, and then with the holidays and stuff, we haven't been on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but 2 back-to-back holidays on Wednesdays kind of puts a little damper on the scheduling.
His first name is Delco. His last name is Steve. He's from Delaware County. He was my intern from when I worked at the Fanatic, and then he was also an employee at WIP briefly on the ground crew. I wanted him hired at the same time as Jack Fritz. I actually would have hired Delco Steve over Jack Fritz. Delco Steve was my number 1 intern, and Jack was 1A. That's true. That's true. Jack was my guy, but Delco Steve. So that's who he is. So when I started doing this, Delco Steve's like, "Hey, I want to do it." He's been paid no penny, not even 1 penny, because I've been paid no money for doing anything.
It's for the love of talking sports. What I'd be doing anyway.
Maybe soon coming up, because I have a couple more of those influencer videos scheduled for January that I just got. So
it's more game time.
No game time. It will be. Let me see here. For a Trust and Will website. They want you to get it's a good idea. I mean, I've had a lot of people say, dude, I'm 48 years old. They're like, you have a will? A will for what? Like, it just makes it easier that if you pass.
Yeah, don't have to think about it.
I've said more than one time in the last month or two that I feel like I could drop dead of a heart attack right now. So, and also
anything can happen.
Something called Mando.
Mando?
Mando. I Googled it.
Like
it's
like the short version of Mandalorian, like the Star Wars thing.
Yes. Yes, it is it's shopmando.com. Or no, maybe it's maybe it's the deodorant one. They just said Mando, so I'm like, cool. Like they could have said whatever, and I would have said cool.
Right. You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay me. Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, they're a great company. Yeah, so you'll have some. I'll give some extra love to the people on that. All right. Well, so listen. So as people are saying, Jack was a better hire. Jack has supreme Phillies knowledge. Well, yeah. I mean, Delco Steve, you can't even pronounce Bohm's name right. You still call him Bomb.
Bomb sounds better.
In your Delco accent of boom.
Boom. Boomer.
Boom. Boom. All right, dude. Well, listen, I know it's late. Sorry for the
no worries, man. I'm up late all the time anyway. You know
all
that.
right, good. And we'll start I'm probably in, you don't have to do these, but I'm gonna probably start, especially if I have these paid people. I might do it another day a week just to try to get some extra clicks.
Yeah, whatever.
To make sure I still get.
If I'm sitting on my couch, I'm game.
All right. Well, go Birds. Final score. What do you got?
28-25.
I'm going 27-17.
Okay. I like it. I like it easier.
Yeah.
I feel like we always make it a little hard in the beginning.
There you go.
That's what.
All right. How's the love life? People want to know, Delco Steve.
Love life's great.
There you go. All right.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Oh, we got the exit music here.
Oh,
they changed around the stuff on here too.
Oh
man,
if you
noticed that?
Oh, I did not. I got it though.
Figure out where it is. I'm still not really sure.
I got it.
You got it. There it is. All right, there you go. Oh, also, I the PHLY Philly with John Marks. I'm back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. live. Check me out. And in the upcoming weeks, going to change things up a little bit. Delco Steve, if you're able to come in maybe a couple times a month, twice a month, something like that.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to it.
Damn, I can make it work.
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Go Flyers! Don't fight anybody at the games, Delco Steve. Don't
fight. I'll probably fight my friends before I fight other people.
All right, we'll try to stay sober. All right,
never that.
Later.
See ya.